Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go! Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness, Freeman Mazda Hyundai, and Worth the Poor. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! It is Monday, April 11th, 2022. Sounds weird saying that sometimes. 2022. We here, man. We here. Coming up, Lamb got now. We don't care who got next. Talk about CeeDee Lamb. This week, I think I want to feature some of the head honchos from the Dallas Cowboys. We've been talking about the role players. We've been talking about the coaches, the draft, and we'll talk about the draft still too. But if this team is going to take the next step, it's going to need its best players to do that as well. And I want to start with CeeDee Lamb this week, right? I think he's going to have the most pressure on himself going into the season than any other wide receiver since 2018 when they traded for Amari Cooper. So we'll get into all of that. We'll take a look at his 2021 year, where he did good, where he did, where he can improve at, and where I think people have him misconstrued, and we'll compare him to his peers and things like that. And also, will he get help? So we'll look into that as well. In the roundup, some things that pissed me off this weekend, we'll get into. And then Dallas, dare I say, made another Catboy move. We'll talk about that too. I'm not going to break down this guy. I promise y'all I won't. But we got to bring it up because we do a morning show every day, bringing you guys Cowboys news, and that is part of the Dallas Cowboys news. If you want to call in, you can. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. Make sure y'all come through. Let me know how y'all feel about today's topic and more. First off, a couple things. Number one, around the league first. Calais Campbell, y'all, he's off the board. He went back to the Baltimore Ravens, signing for something like I said, $6 million a year. So this is for me, because y'all know how I felt about Calais Campbell.
They are you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
It was all a dream. Well, it lasted all but 2 days for our fantasy mock draft, mock general manager. Really thought Calais could have been help here, but it's gone. He's gone. Back with the Ravens, man. It's back with the Ravens. I'm just saying, man. I thought Calais Campbell could have been a great addition to this team. He'll be back in Baltimore and probably help them get to the playoffs, and then we'll be coming back here next year. Y'all be telling me, man, Scott, we should have listened to you. Should have goddamn listened to you. But, yeah, he's gone back to Baltimore, and good for him and his family. I figured that would happen. More veterans, I think, will be signed to some of these competing teams. Don't expect it to happen here in Dallas. You know how that goes. On some serious news and sombering news, unfortunately, running backs coach, former Dallas Cowboys running backs coach Gary Brown essentially lost his battle with cancer. He had 2 bouts of cancer while he was a coach in the NFL, and he succumbed to the second bout of that. Very, very sad news to hear Gary Brown's passing. Former NFL running back as well, not just the Cowboys running back coach. He was here for a while, too, about 7 years. Coached Ezekiel Elliott to the world, TPs. Also helped coach, I believe it was DeMarco Murray. He was here for that little run, that little 2014 run. And just loved by a lot of the players, a lot of the coaches, and, of course, the fans as well. Just a tough loss for Coach Brown. This is what Jerry Jones had to say about him. Gary Brown had a big heart, partner with a big smile and a big personality. His energy and spirit were infectious. He lit up every room he walked into and touched the lives of those who knew him in such a positive way. Just last week, really, in Cowboys Nation in regards to former players or coaches, hasn't been great news. We lost Big Cat last week, and we've lost Gary Brown this past weekend. So rest in heaven, rest in peace, rest in power, Coach Brown. From everyone that I've seen, former players and coaches, you left a big mark on them. And there are a lot of clips that I've seen of Coach Brown. The one that sticks out to me most is at the end, I think it was the last game of the year in 2019. He's on the bench with Zeke. Alfred Morris, I think, was still there at the time. I could be wrong. It might have been someone else. And Tony Pollard. No, it wasn't Alfred Morris. I'm sorry. And Tony Pollard. And he's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but you guys have helped make my life better. And I'm glad to have been here and coached you and things like that. And apparently he was that way with everyone. So just a great man that the world has lost. So rest in peace, Coach Brown. With that said, guys, let's go ahead and roll into this morning's roundup where as I get a little something off my chest, and then we can go into the content. Promise you, won't keep you too long. Today will be a little bit short, I think. I always say that, it ends up going long.
Looking at my Gucci, it's about that time.
It's time! It's time!
It's time!
It's time.
It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Yes, indeed. This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Strive for progress, not perfection. Fitness goals are not accomplished with one workout. Progress towards your goals with Texas Family Fitness. And you can reach those goals at any of the 13 different locations in the DFW area, or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com and let them know that your boy Sky sent you. So, over the weekend, Dwayne Haskins also passed away. Rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins, who we all know him from his time in Ohio State and his brief time in the NFL. And a lot of people had certain different things to say and said them in a very terribly way, in my opinion. Schefter, right, he came out. He made his tweet. Whatever. Gil Brandt, though, hey, man, it's time to take the old head's mic away from him, okay? I thought for a long time it was time to take his mic away from him, but this pretty much rubber stamps it. Some of the things he had to say about Dwayne Haskins was downright disgusting, disrespectful to the Haskins family and his friends. And this has nothing to do with, this is the new age this, new age that. No. It was sickening. While the body was still freaking warm, Gil Brandt was on the radio and his partner asked him, about Dwayne Haskins. And these are some of the things he had to say. I'm not going to play the entire interview because it just pisses me off. He says he was a guy that was living to be dead. It was always something with Haskins. And maybe if he stayed in school a year, he wouldn't do silly things like jogging on the highway. Nah. The man is elderly and whatever. I understand that, but if I'm a friend of Dwayne Haskins, if I'm a family member of Dwayne Haskins, those are the type of things you want to put hands on people for. Right? Now, that's not going to happen with old Gil. He's an old man. But I'm just saying, that was distasteful, it was careless, it was ignorant. And I don't even know Dwayne, and that pissed me off. He's part of this old media that I think needs to start going by the wayside. I don't know if this is going to affect how people feel about him, especially some of the older people. They definitely won't. But there is a young generation that really doesn't know who Gil Brandt is. He's a revolutionary, right? He's big in the Cowboys franchise, in their history, and all that. But there is a young group of kids and generation who will know now Gil Brandt for this. And that's unfortunate. Moving on to Cowboys signings. Over the weekend, the Dallas Cowboys signed running back / fullback Ryan Nall.
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm going to just be completely honest with you. I didn't know who the hell this guy was. And you're not going to know every single player. You're not going to know every single free agent, every single draft prospect, et cetera, et cetera. But I had absolutely no clue who he was. And I promise you, when I heard that, this was what went off in my head. Because, I love wrestling.
Who in the blue hell are you?
I didn't know who the hell he was. But this is who he is. 6'2", 240 pounds. Fullback, running back, whatever you want to call him, out of Oregon State. He's got 15 career touches in 3 seasons. So he's not a guy that they're going to feature, obviously. He's not a guy that's going to touch the ball. They don't give fullbacks the rock in this era. But he's mostly a special teams guy. He played in 577 special team snaps in 3 years in Chicago. This got me to thinking, what's up with Saywoo? Is it Saywoo? I'm sorry for pronouncing that wrong. Who had the neck injury. I thought he had some potential to stick around as kind of a hybrid H-back with the Cowboys. Maybe that neck injury is more serious than we know. I hope he gets another shot to compete with this guy, but it's clear as day he may have a bit of an edge, even though Saywoo was pretty good on special teams, I thought, for that 2020 season. But 577, almost 600 career special team snaps. This is clearly a Bones Fossil move, and we'll see if he even sticks around after camp. These roster spots are precious, and I don't know much more about the guy other than that. But let's take a look at the tracker so far for the Cowboys, the updated tracker. I did take off the long snapper. But if you look at the list, it's only 3 guys outside of the Dallas Cowboys organization that have been brought in. Ryan Nall, fullback, James Washington, and Dante Fowler, all on 1-year deals. All on 1-year deals. Yeah, and Twan is right. I just looked over in the chat. We got Ralston, too. But I don't know. From what I've seen from Ryan Nall, I don't know if Ralston is as versatile as this guy, if we're talking about actually getting the ball and doing things. I don't know. But Ryan Nall, he was actual running back at Oregon State. So Ralston, he's more bulked up as a fullback, kind of a truck type guy. But I don't know if any of them make the team, to be honest with you. A lot of roster spots on this team, I think, need to be allocated elsewhere. It's toxic. Hey, Tom Downey said, look at that list. It's rough. Yeah. It's rough. One thing to bring back your guys, another thing to only bring in Null, Washington, and Dante Fowler outside the organization. I wonder around the league, I haven't looked, if the Cowboys are still at the bottom of the list of outside free agents being brought in. I don't know. I would imagine so, 3 guys. I wonder how many organizations have signed no players outside the organization for more than 1 year, too. Right? Like some free agents get 2-year deals, 3-year deals, whatever. Dallas hasn't done that this year. In fact, they only did that with one guy last year, and that was Terrell Basham. So they just don't like to commit to guys outside the organization long term. They feel a little bit bitten. I think it was Cedric Thornton was the last guy who got a 4-year deal outside the organization. It didn't cost him nothing. It was pennies on a dollar. And I want to say Gerald McCoy got a 3-year deal, but that deal was protected because there was a clause in there about his bad quad that they knew about, and his quad blew out, and they were protected in that sense. So they're not going to do that. Not going to do that. All right, we got Los on the horn early. Okay, Los, what you got for us, man?
Yo, good morning, Scott. Good morning.
Good morning.
You want to call in? Have a good morning. Tell everyone in Cowboys chat, even though y'all dealing with these Dallas drivers, at least y'all have A to Z Sports trying to, chill you out, because that's me right now. But anyways, with this signing, I mean, this is all a Cowboys move, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
on brand.
It's our brand of football, man. If you're in the Great Value section, we'll find you. We're the coupon discounts. I think Stephen Jones need to be on that show. What is it, that couponer?
Say again?
The Extreme Couponer. Stephen Jones needs to be on that show, Extreme Couponer.
Yeah, I just watched a movie based on a true story about these 2 women who had a coupon scan. And now that you bring that up, it makes me think of Stephen Jones. He probably should have been a part of that, probably been an architect of it.
Exactly. And I mean, that's about it, man. I just feel like, I don't know, Scott. I just really hope one day, I just pray one day I'll wake up to like a signing, like Cowboys have now signed a great free agent for, risk it for the biscuit price, Are they willing to go to the Super Bowl this year? No, we shall find out. But at least they're trying, But right now, I don't know what they're doing. But I'll leave you with this guy. I know we talk football and everything, but let me talk about this real quick. Of the coaching really matters in any sport, okay? And I'm a huge Mavericks fan. I'm from Dallas area and everything. So last night, I don't know if anyone knows or watches the Mavericks or anything, but when Luka was on that basketball court and the coach left him out there, man, that is a huge detrimental to that team, because now you're going to the playoffs with your main guy being out, and that goes to even like the coaching staff. So for anyone saying that coaching does not matter, it matters in every single sport to make the best decision for your team. And will the Cowboys be able to do that these coming years? We shall see. But I do want some prayers up for Luka. That's my guy. Man, dude, I wish I could do that step back every single basketball game in that rec center. But, yeah, and then if anyone's going to those Texas, that Rangers opener, drive safe, be safe, and don't drive crazy out there in Dallas. Have a good morning, Sky.
I appreciate you, man. Telling these Texas, listen, they do need to drive safe. But, yeah, I saw that this morning about Luka Doncic and his I think it was a calf injury. I don't know what it is about the Dallas sports area and calves, right? You got, I think Randy suffered one. Obviously, Dak suffered one. Michael Gallup. Now you got Luka. And we cover Dallas Mavericks stuff here on A to Z Sports Dallas. You can go on A to Z Sports Dallas.com. Our guy Ian, he covers the Dallas Mavericks. I wonder if he'll have Dr. Boothby on, because he can talk about that and what it means for Luka. I know they're looking at the 3 grades, 1, 2, or 3, and seeing how long it's going to be, but that sucks with the playoffs coming up. I kind of was looking forward to it. I was going to try to make one of the games down there at the AAC. So kind of sucks, man. And I'm not a Mavericks fan, but I'm a fan of basketball. I'm a fan of good basketball and good players. And Luka is amazing. So this sucks. The way they were playing, feel bad for y'all, man. Feel bad for y'all. All right, real quick, we got B on the horn too. Then we'll get into it. What's up, B?
What's good with you, G? What's good with you, man? Man, I've been sitting. I don't know. I just tapped in with you. I don't know if you covered any of the stuff over the past week about this receiver trade talk, man. But man, that stuff irritating so much, bro.
You talking about
sit there and watch these
the Brandon Cook stuff, and
man,
the Parker
the
stuff,
Cook thing, the Parker stuff, man. I'm like, hold on. So you release Cooper, gave Dalton Schultz $10 million guaranteed, and you were going to trade for Devontae Parker, who makes $11 million a year, and you just gave Michael Gallup $12 million a year, and he's probably not really going to be informed to about the.
Well, let me correct you. Let me correct you on Devontae Parker. His cap hit was $6.5 million, I believe, for this upcoming year. So, they weren't.
Oh, it was 6.5. That was his cap hit.
Brandon Cooks, they inquired on, whose cap hit is above $10 million. It's like $12 or so million.
16.
Yeah, well, I think the cap hit would have been 12 something with a trade. I was mistaken the first week when I thought it was going to be 16. He was getting paid $16 million. But nonetheless, it wasn't going to be a small cap hit. So I'm with you.
Right.
You're bringing in guys who is definitely with Brandon Cooks, whose cap hit, you could have lowered Cooper's cap hit if you wanted to look just like that, but you didn't. You were ready to move on from him.
Man, I'm just convinced after watching all this wide receiver trade talk, which I didn't even believe. I think that was just capping.
Yeah.
I think that was just cover, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because after all this trade talk and inquiries that you're making, you could have just kept Cooper. And it's just, I'm convinced, bro, that it was personal. Because it just, every time it's like, all right, man, you're going to move on from it. They do something to open back up that wound, so to speak. And you know what I'm saying? It just makes no sense.
And I don't understand the personal part about it because it's not like the dude did anything to your organization. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he went out and he snake leads you, right? Or Garrett guided you, or went in front of the his parking lot and started doing sit-ups and talking trash on the quarterback. It's not like he did any of that. So yeah, it was very confusing on that move, and then to get nothing in return. Again, we're opening up a wound. I don't even feel like going into it again, but yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. But just a little draft talk, bro. I don't really want a receiver in the first round.
Oh, I'm just saying, get ready for it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but prepare yourself because they're looking at it.
I don't want one because if you play ball, man, and we all fans in the NFL, wide receiver, if you're not like a top guy, wide receiver is not it's one of the harder positions to translate in the NFL because you're learning. You're learning how to beat press. You're learning different looks. You get one or two looks in college. In the NFL, it's a totally different game, bro. And I don't want to sit here and watch a wide receiver.
Listen, so if this was 10 years ago, 100%. I think in this new age of the NFL, though, the rules have allowed wide receivers to come into this league and become factors right away a lot quicker than we're used to seeing. And we're just seeing it at kind of a historic rate. A lot of these guys are coming in and having an impact. You're not wrong, though, and the nuances of the game are much different than college, but the rules allow them to kind of pick it up a bit quicker than it would have been in 2005 or 1995, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's why you're seeing some of these guys come in and have success pretty quickly. And usually a first-round guy you would hope could do that. But do we even have a Jamar Chase in this draft, though? Like when you say top wide receivers, I don't think there's one.
Nope.
I think there's a preference, right? It's a flavor. Like what do you like and what fits with your system?
Facts. Because the guys that they talk, this may not be popular But I'm not a Traylon Burks fan. I already have that guy. I don't need another guy that needs the ball in his hands early to be effective or as a 50-50 ball catcher. I don't need that guy. And everybody keeps talking about, oh, yeah, you can use him like Deebo Samuels. So we really trust Kellen Moore to do that?
So I'm going to rebut.
Have that guy
I'm going to rebut on that one.
On your team?
I'm going to rebut on that one because one thing you gotta realize is you shouldn't select a player just solely based on the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator in the first round, just solely. That has to be a part of it, but not solely, because that offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator could be gone in a year or two, right? And that player's there for 5 years. So it's tough because you got to project in the future too, as well as how can he fit right now. Let's stop talking about utilizing him like Deebo Samuels. That's not going to happen. But can he be productive in Dallas? I think he absolutely can be productive in Dallas. I do. I think he's talented enough.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know,
especially
man.
early.
I don't know, man. I feel like I already have that guy on my team. I just wish they get him the damn ball. Yeah. The guy that they have on our team like that is Tony Pollard. It's crazy, man, that everybody
Tony Pollard ain't going to be here. He's here for 1 year. Traylon Burks will be a 5 year.
You don't think they're going to re-sign him?
Absolutely not. If they do, it's stupid. I'm going to be honest with you. And I love Tony Pollard. But unless you're getting Tony Pollard for a dirt cheap contract, and I mean dirt cheap, you're better off drafting running backs. I don't think he's going to get that type of payday, in my opinion. Well, listen, bro. At running back, I just don't think it makes any sense. And I like Tony Pollard. It makes any sense to pay them money, to be honest with you, unless they are top tier.
I'm not paying him as a running back. I'm not paying him.
You're going to move him to wide receiver?
I'm paying him as a guy. I'm just going to pay him as a guy that can do a little bit of everything. But I get what you're saying as far as the type of contract, and I agree. If it's I'm not saying a dirt cheap contract. I want to see these boys get their bag, but I would like to see them re-sign them because Zeke not going to be here next year. You think Zeke going to be there?
I said this before. I think get ready for a overhaul running back room. Don't think you're going to see either of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if I'm Tony, why the hell would I want to come back to Dallas? We got to remember, this is a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? I hit free agency. Thank y'all for not putting a bunch of miles on my legs. Now I can take that and I can go somewhere where they'll utilize me correctly. Why would I come back to a team that historically, this goes beyond Kellen Moore, historically doesn't utilize this type of player, doesn't feature this type of player? I can go play somewhere else.
You said they was going to have Sean Payton next year. So we know.
I didn't say that. I never said we're going to have Sean Payton. The rumors are about Sean Payton. Now that would change things. No, real shit. Hold on, B, because that changes things drastically. If Sean Payton returns, if I'm Sean, I say, is there a way you can get him back here on the cheap? I want to see if I can get an Alvin Kamara type of role out of Tony Pollard.
I have no doubt in my mind that he can do it.
I do.
I'm almost positive he can do it.
I agree.
Yeah, man, but I'm hoping, man, that I'm not really feeling the offensive player at 24. Honestly, man, I feel like the defense is the part of the ball that just can't take a step back. We can't just depend on Dan Quinn to do it with minimum guys, like minimum contract type guys. Man, give him 2 more guys. You know what I'm saying, in that front 7, man. I'm hoping for Devin Lloyd, bro. I'm hoping for Devin Lloyd. I feel like you want to add to what you did last year. Don't just say, here, Dan Quinn, fix it again.
I thought
you know
that.
What I'm saying?
I thought that in general in this offseason. My whole mindset, as soon as that clock hit 0, was okay. We're gonna be pissed for a little bit, but let's add to it. And I don't think we've done that, which is the frustrating part.
Facts. Yeah, man, that's all I got, man. I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents, man. I got to get with you before you come down here for the draft, so I can get your information.
So I won't be there. Yeah, that week.
You ain't gonna be there?
Nope, not gonna be there. We'll be here. I'll still be here. I'll be covering the draft here. Unfortunately, I thought we were going to be there, but we're not. So not this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, G, man. Well, you have a good one, man. I just wanted to get my little 2 cents in, get it off my chest this morning.
All right, brother. Appreciate you as always, B.
All right, G, I'm going to listen off there.
Yeah, 24. I'm a fan of the defensive pick at 24 as well because I like a lot of these defenders. But I've been saying it since, we got into the draft lab. I just truly believe you'll have a guy there that can help you produce in year one, whether it be offense or defense. I'm not really swayed one way or the other because the draft is beyond round one, right? If whatever you do in round one, you can come back in round 2 and 3 and 4 and address those positions. But the problem is, I'll show you that. Did I have the tracker up here? I'm sorry, that's not the one I want to go to. The tracker. Look at you're not doing anything to address these positions going into the draft. Washington, Fowler, and all that outside. That does nothing for me. That doesn't make me feel great going into the draft. That I can sit back and relax and be cool, calm, and collected when the pick falls to me. Right? I don't want to have to feel like there's a debate because of need. But I think we're kind of doing that at this moment. No mock today, Los. I wanted to give everybody a break from the mocks because we kind of did a mock on Thursday evening. Then we reviewed the mock on Friday, so maybe we'll do the mock tomorrow and see what's up. With that said, I just talked about the 3 outside free agents who don't even really move the needle. And as you guys kind of got a glimpse of there, we're 17 days away from the NFL draft. And I wanted to take a look at Cowboys' 17th overall picks in Dallas Cowboys history. And one of them being CeeDee Lamb. All right. CeeDee Lamb. And I'll just go right back to it. There we go. Let's kind of go over the history of these picks, or at least some of the top names, and the top name, right? You got cornerback Kevin Smith, who helped win 3 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys, participated in 2 of them, and we'll get to why only 2. Was a steady position, or steady hand at the position during his 8 years in Dallas. Now, in 95, he did tear his ACL in the opener, and I think that kind of affected the rest of his career. But he still had one hell of a career for the Cowboys. Eventually retired in 2000 after playing 8 years in Dallas. But if he didn't get hurt, could have went down as one of those top dogs in Dallas Cowboys history at the cornerback position. Nonetheless, though, really good, solid pick at 17. Then, of course, in that draft, you had some of the best guys get drafted. I think I call it the cherry on top of the 90s dynasty, right? Darren Woodson, Kevin Smith, Jimmy Johnson, Robert Jones. That was just kind of the cherry on top. And I think it was, it was from the Herschel Walker trade. Also, pick number 17th overall, the GOAT, Emmitt Smith, all-time leading rusher, all-time leading touchdowns for running backs, and in the postseason. One part of the triplets. Changed the course of NFL history, I think, in the 90s for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, what more can you say? Ring of Honor, Hall of Fame, just it's Emmitt, man. It's Emmitt. In fact, we all grew up wanting the Emmitt cage. That's what we called it. Might not have been his first, but it was his. The Emmitt cage. We ain't call it nothing else. Give me the Emmitt. And then you got CeeDee Lamb. His status, I think, oddly, has come under question with the Cowboys. I don't think it should, but it's come under question, and I'll tell you why in a second. Before we do that, though, I'll tell you about this week's Ride of the Week, which is the 2022 Mazda CX-9 Touring. Combining a handsome exterior, a near luxury interior, and a surprisingly fun-to-drive nature, the 2022 Mazda CX-9 is the 3-row crossover for modern-day buyers. Starting off, the Touring, by the way, which is not the base model, starts off about $39,000. They have the Apple CarPlay, the Android CarPlay, which all these new cars should have. 3rd-row seating, adaptive cruise control, all-wheel driving, rain-sensing wipers, and much more cool features that I think you guys should check out. So head on over to freemanmazda.net or visit Freeman Mazda in Irving, Texas to get more information on this week's Ride of the week.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions.
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Appreciate y'all for being here this morning. Good calls. Good calls already. If you want to keep calling in, 351-999-3787. Got TP from NC on the horn. I'll get to you in a second, TP. But I want to get back to the task at hand, which is, as you can see here, the mantle being passed to our guy, CeeDee Lamb. Mantle meaning he's the guy now. He's your number one wide receiver. This was a plan when they drafted him, gave him 88, right? They even gave themselves that out with Amari Cooper just in case maybe this had happened or they weren't satisfied with Cooper or whatever. Well, they got lucky. CeeDee fell to him. And I personally think that CeeDee Lamb is having a career trajectory to being that dude, that number one guy. I do. You look at his rookie year, and you'll see 74 receptions, 935 yards, 5 touchdowns with 4 different QBs, which is why a lot of us got excited, right? A lot of us got excited for his second season. And it started off great. And really, in totality, it was a really damn good year. Year 2, 79 receptions, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. And that's, missing about 2.5 games. Not to mention the weirdness of the offense in the second half of the season, which he was a part of, right? He was a part of that. He didn't score a touchdown the last, I think, 7 games of the season. And then in the playoffs, it just all fell. He only was targeted, I think, 5 times, had 2 receptions, and one of them was at the end of the game. Just wasn't great. But I don't think we should forget what he is, what he can bring to the table. Sometimes you got to go back. There's a sense of forgetfulness about what he has, and that's explosiveness to the second level. He has quick feet, top end athleticism, obviously the yak ability, which you're seeing right now. And I think for the most part, he has a good sense of finding the soft spots in the second or in the part of the zone. Here's where a lot of people are not fond of CeeDee Lamb, right? And that's the drops, and we'll get to in a second. But I think he can improve in the nuances of the game, which comes with experience, Cowboys Nation. Also, it's got to be more in sync, I think, with Dak in adverse situations. That's not just a him problem. That's a quarterback him problem, him quarterback problem. That's something they had to get together. And I hate to call it a problem because it wasn't a problem for most of the season. And for whatever reason, in the back half, it got weird. And then, obviously, the drops. All right? Now, listen, he had some cases of drops last year. There is no denying that. And it's something he'll tell you he's got to improve on. But, I don't think that should take away from the fact that he's a special talent. He's not a perfect one, but he's a special one. His peers aren't perfect either, y'all. His peers aren't perfect. And if you look at his peers, they dropped the ball too, man. I don't know what people are saying in Los Angeles Chargers talking Chargers. I don't know what they're saying over there, but it seems like Cowboys fans are really down on this man, and it's strange to me. So, if you look at his drops, he had a couple games, particularly the game 1 where he had a couple early drops, and then the Giants game where he had like 3, in my opinion, and that really skews his drop percentage and things of such. But he had less drops than Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce, Deebo Samuels, DJ Moore. Same amount as Cooper Kupp, Keenan Allen, A.J. Brown. And his drop percentage was less than a few of those guys. Jamar Chase, Samuels, A.J. Brown, and Travis Kelce. I don't know what they're saying about those dudes in regards to that. But I do know what Cowboys Nation is saying about CeeDee Lamb. And they seem to believe he can't be, not everyone, but a sector of the fan base seems to believe there's a disappointment in this player. There's a can't do it to this player. And, excuse me, I find it very interesting. Is it because we're just upset as Cowboys fans on how the season played out? Right? I said this before. We really need a win. A win doesn't necessarily have to be a Super Bowl. That would be lovely. But we need a win. We need a playoff run of dominance of some sort. Because when the season's over, immediately, we're looking. Who the hell? Cooper, Dak, Zeke, Lamb. And we forget these dudes are really damn good. They're not perfect. They're really damn good. They're not, they have their issues in the season like a lot of other teams. See, when you win, you forget you threw 6 pick sixes in the season. You forget you went on a 3 or 4 game losing streak in the season. Those things no one cares about because you won. So Dallas needs a win, man, because we're constantly finding scapegoats. And I think in Cowboys Nation, we end up having 5 or 6 scapegoats, which then makes people believe, oh, we weren't that good, or those guys aren't that good. No, they're good. Go watch. These players are good. CeeDee Lamb is really good. He's a wide receiver 1. I don't care what y'all say. He's a wide receiver 1. And maybe we should just eliminate that damn thing. It's not that I don't believe in CeeDee Lamb. That's not the case. My doubt comes from Kellen. Can he use him as a feature guy? Because CD could be a feature guy, but will he use him as a feature guy? And Dak, I need him to sometimes stray away from the game plan, right? I need him sometimes to just trust your guy. You're better than that guy guarding you. I know what Kellen said. I know what we're supposed to do, but damn it, I like this matchup. So to me, it's not about CD. Does CD have to improve on things? Yes, he's just going to his 3rd year, which, by the way, if you go look at Emmitt Smith's 3rd year, he snapped. 2nd year, he also won ham. But his 3rd year, he snapped, right? And Emmitt supplanted himself as, oh my God, right? I think it was 20-something touchdowns or something like that. Is CeeDee Lamb going to be closer to Emmitt, or is he going to be more Kevin Smith from the 17th overall pick? Not saying the greatest running back in history, but more along that line. I think he has the potential to be. It's just a matter of, will this team use him that way? Will this quarterback use him that way? Or will he just go down and fall right into that Amari Cooper realm where, well, we're going to move on from you because the system says we shouldn't pay you because we're not going to feature you. And I hope that's not the case. I think CeeDee Lamb could have an explosive year this year if utilized the correct way. I do. All right, TP. I had to get that off my chest, man. What's up with you?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Scott?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
No, I'm doing all right, man. I'm listening to you, Herman. You're saying, and I agree. But I think, man, honestly, I think the Cowboys are setting things up for Sean Payton. I just do. I think Jerry, he was very pissed because he knew he had a team to win it. And I think it's kind of like, like remember the Titans when the guy came up the coach went up to the guy and said, hey, you got to do something different because they own to you. And he was expecting the same thing out of McCarthy to do that to Kellen Moore. But he's sitting around wanting to be a get-along guy, and that ain't what Jerry brought him in here to. Jerry brought him in to win a Super Bowl. And so now, he's going all out, going to these camps, looking at these guys, trying to see what he's going to do because I guess he's feeling like, well, if I'm going down with the ship. I'm going to do it my way. But see, like Jerry said, he didn't have time for you to be making adjustments. He, at the end, you should have made them adjustments in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
TP and Cowboys Nation, I totally understand this. I'm gonna use the word conspiracy. Don't take it as disrespect, right? Don't do that because I like conspiracies myself. But I think this conspiracy, there's 2 sides to it, right? One side,
right.
It doesn't make sense for Jerry Jones to do this. It doesn't because Jerry needs to win sooner than later. But
right
on the other side is his son, who believes he has, who thinks he has more time than his father, and he constantly talks about the future. So that's the side that I can see where life is being breathed into it because Steven talks about 2023, 2024, and 2025, And
right.
I mean, these moves don't really look like now moves. They look like future moves to get more cap and have more resources for another person. So I hate the thought of it, TP, but I can see where the Cowboys are giving y'all this ammo.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, I believe I think Jerry was really pissed about it. I know he was. And as far as CeeDee, I want to see. I know CeeDee is capable, but I just want to see that. I don't want the same thing that happened to CeeDee that happened to Juju Smith when Antonio Brown left. You see what I'm saying? Because now they're not going to double team Amari.
I think he's so much better than Juju. Like Juju was a complimentary wideout. Lamb was regarded as the best wide receiver in that draft. Now Justin Jefferson has something to say about it, but again, I'd argue if Lamb got the same looks as Justin Jefferson, he'd have those numbers too. But I digress on that one. So I think those two guys are different. But I hear you, right? Like they both were wide receiver twos, come into the league the first few years, and then their guy left in AB and Cooper. And let's see what happens with Lamb. I just think he has all the ability though, TP.
Okay, and then the last thing I'm gonna say and let you go. I honestly believe we're gonna get that line revamped. And like I said before, you was talking about the conspiracy. I know Jerry's gonna get that line revamped to protect what they paid. You know, they paid Dak all that money, and I think it's just leading. I may be wrong, but I just think everything's lining up for Sean Payton. I just do, and Jerry's just waiting to see what's gonna happen this season. Is you gonna put up or shut up Mike McCarthy? Because the only way you gonna keep your job is we win one or two games in the playoffs.
It might
go to the Super Bowl.
It might need to be more than one, bro.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, that's what it's looking like to me. But then again, when everything on paper, everybody said the Cowboys got the team to win it, they fail. But but as soon as they look like they trash, they end up winning. So we gonna see what's going on, and I'm hoping for the best. But it just seems like to me everything just lined up to Sean Payton. And I'm out, Sky.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, TP.
All right.
You know, I understand the thought process. You know, that's why I don't get all caught up, in it. I just would urge, if that's what you believe it, but don't allow it to take over you. You know what I mean? Like, don't get upset if it doesn't happen. Because it does feel like this is I don't hate to use the term lame duck because he has more years on his contract for Mike McCarthy, but it just don't smell good. You know, we're a few months removed from the whole situation between Jerry Jones coming out saying stuff and McCarthy coming out saying stuff. Doesn't feel like a great relationship. Doesn't feel like a great relationship. I got the wise one, the OG, B Bird on the horn. What's up? How you doing?
Hey, how you
Bird?
doing, Scott? Good morning to you, brother.
Good morning. Good morning.
And just a little bit of to TP. I really think that Mike McCarthy was done a disservice because I talked to you prior to his first season, and you probably don't remember this, but I told you, I said, man, that I said Mike McCarthy didn't want Kellen Moore, and then you said, no, he said that he wanted him, this, that, and other. I think it's kind of panning out that
Feels
he
that
didn't
way
want
now,
Kellen Moore. Yeah, it is, and so I think what it was is that was Mike McCarthy saying basically, I didn't want this guy. Y'all put him on me. That was part of me getting this job, so I did accept that. But I'm going to, since y'all got so much confidence in his genius, I'm going to let you sink or swim with that. I'm not putting my hands in that because if I put my hands in it, now you're pointing the blame at me. So at the end of the season, people are going to ask about the offense, I'll point you to Kellen Moore because that's the Joneses call. And that's what I think it is.
Did you hear the Jones? It was just so funny because, like you said, McCarthy just going on what you said. McCarthy didn't want to put his hands in it because he didn't want to take the blame. But after the season, what did you hear Jerry and them boys saying? Well, we want McCarthy to be more involved. Oh, do you now?
Yeah.
So he was in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, he was because the Joneses, again, the decisions they make, they're going to give it all the time to succeed. although it's failing. You know, you can look at some of the players they've had before. But I had a couple of things, man. I want to and I do think there's a place for analytics in all sports. But I think that what you ended up, I think that analytics would never tell you to get an A player. You know, like a type top of the line player. I always think analytics look to
It's like
say, hey,
Moneyball.
it's like Moneyball. It's like, okay, if we can get this out of that guy, if we can get just a little bit less and pay less out of this guy, then we'll be doing better. But I think what it does, it just brings you to C+, B- players all the way across the board, and you try to win that way. So, that's why analytics there is a place for it in sports and everything. But then you still have to, it is a place for other things, which brings me to my next point. I did talk to you earlier a couple of months ago, and I branded the Cowboys the corporate Cowboys. I've kind of heard it said a few times
Man, I
after
freaking
I
love
said
that. Yeah, I think it was
And
Boss
so-
who started really running with it. And man,
Yeah.
it sounds great. Corporate Cowboys.
But they are they're the corporate Cowboys, and so. But I was going to ask you this. The thing about it is, back in the '90s, at the triplets, the one I believe that we could not have won without was Michael Irvin. It's not just his production, but his leadership and his effect on the rest of the team. I don't know, and I'm asking you this question. I don't know if the corporate environment allows for a guy to be that prevalent as far as having his effect on the team's leadership, because I really don't think that we have an emotional leader on offense. I think we're corporate on offense. I think we just go by the book and this, that, and the other. We don't have any fire. That's the thing that I thought that was missing from our offense in that playoff game. And in hard times, man, I think that we didn't really do well when the pressure was on us offensively. I think we had those guys on defense with the safety. I forget his name. I'm sorry.
J-Ron Curse.
Yeah, J-Ron Curse. But they didn't get him for that. That was an addition that they got, when they got him. It's like, oh, wow, this guy's a leader. I don't know if the Cowboys even look at those things, because I think they almost look at things as though it's fantasy football. You know what I'm saying? But those things
The
matter to
irony
me.
of you saying that, because Mike McCarthy said when they were talking about moving Zach Martin to tackle in 2020, he said this isn't fantasy football. So the irony is hilarious, because they ended up doing it, and they realized you do got to adapt.
Yeah, and so I think that, the reason why I'm saying that is because I think that last year, personnel-wise, is the first time I can say that, okay, we got pretty much everything to make a run to the NFC Championship in a long time. I mean, to me, that was the best put-together team we've had, and I know, over 10 years to me. But to fall flat on our face, and I think if you look at it, you look at the way San Francisco came out the locker room, if you look at the way we came out, some of the comments that Mike McCarthy made afterwards about us kind of being nervous, I think we just lack leadership on that side. And I don't know if the environment would even allow for a leader. I'm afraid for Micah Parsons if he's in his culture. He's a lion, but I'm afraid to see in 3 years what he'd be. I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard to fight the culture, right?
Well, I mean,
so
the hope that you have is you saw that J-Ron Curse was that guy. You just said it, right? You said J-Ron Curse is that guy. So, if you're looking for that guy, it can be done. We just don't have it on offense. I don't think you're going to get it this year. We didn't add anybody like that, right? So that means coaching needs to take a step up in that regard. And I think McCarthy came out and took a little bit of heat because he realized he didn't have his guys ready to go. And it wasn't just on offense, by the way. The defense gave up 13 quick points in that game too. So nobody was ready in that game for whatever reason. And I think that does fall on coaching first and then the players after.
But you have to empower your coach. And what we do is we cut our coaches off at the knees when we start making personnel decisions for them, minimizing game plans. And we think, I think we can say that, deciding playing time for players on the field, you start cutting them off right there and cutting off their leadership ability to me. And so the thing about it is that, one of the things, lack of a better word, would Sean Payton be better here? Yeah, because he has a big personality 100%. That can override some of the things that the Joneses do. It's not Sean Payton's X's and O's that I want here. I actually want his reputation, because that's the thing that you have to fight. You have to be – the Cowboys they haven't gotten a coach here that had other options in a long time. The last one was Bill Parcells, but everybody else was just begging for the job. When you beg for the job, they're gonna put some things in there that you're going to have to accept. But when you have other options, which would be a Sean Payton or a Belichick or somebody like that, then now you can kind of call your own shot. You can set some things out at the start. And so we need someone in here that, that has other options, has some leverage to be able to gain some of the things that they need, to get this team to the next level.
We've talked about it a bunch here. We need someone in here that is not afraid of confrontation, right?
Yes.
The last two coaches that have done that have strayed the Cowboys in the right direction. And we're talking about Jimmy Johnson and we're talking about Bill Parcells. They're not afraid of confrontation. They may lose, right? T.O., right? And Jimmy lost a few with Jerry, but they may lose a few, but it doesn't matter. The ones that they win help the Cowboys go in the right direction. And I truly believe that sometimes out of confrontation comes positivity. Sometimes you need to have a heated discussion to get things off your chest or make someone, hey, just look at it this way. Trust me, believe me. It hasn't been that way. It's been a lot of yes men, right? A lot of guys that the Joneses know that they can control. It is what it is. Will they give them a little bit of leeway? Sure. But at the end of the day, as Stephen Jones likes to say, there is a little bit of snipping going on. And it was right away and very evident with Mike McCarthy and having Kellen Moore on. It was right away and very evident with Jason Garrett and Wade Phillips, right? And then Jason actually got a little bit of rope. He got a little bit of rope, but Jason was corporate, just like the rest of this team. Like you call them corporate Cowboys.
Absolutely.
He was definitely corporate. He had a chance though. Jason had a couple chances, but it just never got done.
So I think that the Joneses, and if you really look at it, because I always look at the psychology of those guys. Those guys are, of course, they want to, and I always say they want to be known as football guys, but they really protect that too. But they want to be comfortable in the front office. So they hire people that make them comfortable. And so that's the first thing. Like, how can we work with this guy? They're not saying, will this guy help us get to the next level? They're saying, how can we work with him? Because we have a style that we like to do. We like to be intrusive. So will that guy allow us to be that? If it's a no, then that candidate is gone. So it might be the best candidate for the position, but we won't even get a second look.
It's, will that guy fit in with what I want to do?
That's correct.
With what I think this should look like, right? And you usually don't see an owner, you know what I mean, have that. Usually the owner hires a football guy, and that football guy says, hey, this is what our philosophy is. This is what our basis is. I'm going to bring in a guy that I think can help us reach that to the maximum. I don't think there is a philosophy in Dallas except for how they approach free agency and the draft. But in regards to when it comes to systems and things like that and X's and O's, it's very fluid, which you should have some fluid to it. But you look at some of the stable franchises that are usually stable for a decade or more, they have a philosophy that they stick to that works. What is that in Dallas? Is that offense,
so,
defense? What do you mean? Is it coaching? Yeah. What is it? Oh, we draft.
Well, you can look at Will McClay. He's great at what he does, but he also allows them to keep the general manager tag, and he's comfortable working with those guys. And I tell you what, if you go look at Will McClay's salary, he's probably making more than some GMs. Because why? Yeah. Because Will McClay allows them to do what they do. And so, I just think that, man,
Will McClay
again,
got the perfect job. He doesn't take any. He will get no heat, right? He'll get all the praise. He's just kicking back, chilling. Well, and plus he, family lives down here in Dallas, things like that. As long as they keep paying him a hefty price, he keeps being good at his job. Why would he leave? You know what I mean? He's young. He's not 70, 80 years old. He's young. He know my time will come where I'm going to be the sole general manager. But right now, I'm getting all the praise for our great picks, and I'll get no heat if it doesn't work out. And in regards to, pro player personnel, all I can do is give him a list of what Stephen Jones wants. And Stephen Jones doesn't want the top-tier guys. So I'm going to provide him with the J-Ron Curses, right, the DeMonte KZs. And guess who's getting the praise for that? Will McClay.
So the other day, man, I'm going to let you go on this one. When I gave you a scenario about you being a wide receiver being recruited by Georgia and Florida and Mississippi State, correct? You remember that?
Yeah. Yep. You told me that story. Yep.
Well, one of the things I was going to tell you that if you're not getting, I forgot to add this part, that if you're not getting five-star and four-star players year after year, what you end up being is Vanderbilt in football in the SEC. And that's kind of what the Cowboys are going to do if they don't keep up with the arms race Man, guys are trying to win right now. We're trying to win in 2025. We have a squad that we could have built upon last year. Just added to those guys. I think added some leadership. DeLont Wagner, added some leadership from that. Added some guys that have been at the Super Bowl. And, hey, let's make another 2-year run at this thing, man. But we went backwards on this thing, and I just don't understand that, man. And I'm going to let you go on that, man, because that's the craziest thing, that we acting like we were 5-12 instead of 12-5. And I think we could have added some key pieces in there. It might cost a little bit, but make a run for it. When are we going to actually go put the chips in the middle of the table and make a run for it, Scott? I'm going to take you offline and continue to listen, brother.
Thank you, man.
All right.
I don't even know how to follow. That's how I've been feeling, man, for quite some time, but especially after this year. And again, draft is coming up. We'll be extremely excited for that. We'll get camp down the street. Extremely excited for that. Hell, I might be at camp in Cali. So all these things, the excitement will come back, but the frustrating part is it's not the fact that you get rid of certain players. I talked about this before. It's the fact that I don't know that we really truly know how to build. Building is putting things on top. You know what I mean? And I don't think you can argue with me about that, because if you go look at the history of successful seasons, look at the follow-up. You can call injuries, you can say whatever. I've seen teams with injuries go to the playoffs too. Okay? And injuries is part of the context, sure. But God dang it, they haven't went back-to-back since 06-07. That's the only time they went back-to-back since 1996-97 or 97-98. That's a real problem in building, right? A real problem. Two separate eras, right? Salary cap is a bit different now than it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, but the same people are running the ship, and that's what frustrates me, is that I thought we were going to build on top. The optimist side of me, I could say maybe we've at best maintained, and that's being super optimistic. At best, the Cowboys have maintained, which not necessarily a bad thing. You were a 12-5 team. But I'm looking beyond the division. I'm looking at the rest of the league. And as we stand right now, it's really tough to get behind, this team can win the Super Bowl without sounding crazy. Now, a lot can happen between now and we got 2 weeks till draft time. Still I'm very surprised. Whether you are optimistic or not, I am very surprised that, this is what's happening in our free agency. Noah Washington and Dante Fowler are the only guys brought in. I just don't understand it. Okay, you want to get rid of all the guys you got rid of. You don't, cool. But how are we, how are we getting better here? We need more players, man. We need more players. We got 2 weeks till draft. You have after draft. You got camp is going to come. Players will get cut. Maybe they'll sign some people then. Hell, like I said, they brought in Malik Hooker in July. So maybe we'll get another Malik Hooker signing. But, boy, you playing with some fire. We talk about pressure on CeeDee Lamb in today's episode. Man, how much pressure are you going to continue to put on this training staff, on this front office in regards to the scouting department? It's a lot of pressure, man. A lot of pressure. All right, I'll get Kayla. I'll get to our guy Nacho, and we'll wrap this thing up. What you got for us, Nacho?
My man, Sky. Good morning. How you doing today?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Not too bad at all. Incredible, right? Calais Campbell, if what you're sharing is that he signed back with the Ravens,
yes,
for about that amount, my goodness. Yeah, it is. I think we're still going on. What is the plan? Are they going to wait after the draft and then use some of that money that they do have to spend? Are we going to do it prior to the draft? When you have opportunities to get veteran leadership and veteran players that can come in and continue to patch the holes as we're doing, I just it is frustrating as a fan that we're not doing that, and I don't know what the game plan is going forward, and we're still being very passive and very reserved and hesitant in terms of what we do, and we can just hope that there is a lot of great veterans out there still that we can still plug in.
It's dwindling. You know what I'm saying? It's dwindling. I think if you're going to hold on to a certain hope, the hope is that the 2020 draft class, 2021 draft class takes a step so high that you can ignore the fact that you went out and you're signing Ryan Knowles of the world. You know what I mean? Like you're going to need them to take that next step quickly. And that's a flaw in my opinion sometimes, is that expecting a draft class to just hit on all cylinders like that in the middle of their development. I think to kind of mitigate that process, that development process, you bring in veterans, quality veterans, not just 1 year, bottom of the barrel guys, but quality veterans that help you get over that hump as your young guys develop. So, we're going to need, I said this before, we're going to need the 2020 draft class to really step up, and then last year's draft class is going to have to take another step too. I mean, that seems to be the plan. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's the plan right now.
If they went ahead, I feel you on that. If they went ahead and got like maybe let's say Akeem Nicks and maybe Jason Pierre-Paul or something like that. Let's say like they play a 1 year rental, what have you. Okay, and then you draft. Okay, so I can see. Okay, now we did make some moves, Fowler along with that and all that. Okay, now you're feeling a little bit better. Okay, we grabbed a few bats here, but yeah, the fact that we're just sitting and you hear these rumors coming and going about so many different players going here and there, and then you're waiting, you're going, okay, Dallas, and then the fact that we heard about Wagner and his interest, and like him being like, yeah, like I'm interested in coming to Dallas.
Von Miller, apparently. I saw videos going around about Von Miller. Yeah.
Oh, my God, right? And Von, right? So here was players that are at the point of their careers where, okay, maybe playing for an organization that they've always wanted to play for, and of course they've made their money already as it is. But so there was that intrigue and that opportunity, and we didn't take it, and the money's there, and they do have the flexibility and mobility to do something. Yet we decide that, hey, we're going to stay pat, and we're going to. So
but it's not a surprise, right? I mean, you're not. I don't think anyone's surprised,
not at all.
Right?
No, it's not. It's not. It's just that I think to everybody's point and to your point exactly is the fact that we're just our mindset is just so different. We're not. Look at, for example, look at the New Orleans Saints, obviously with the Eagles and the trades and these teams that are just being aggressive, and I mean over here, living in the Bay Area with the 49ers in this area over here, you hear about them trying to, and the Chargers and all that, trying to move up and trying to be aggressive and saying, okay, like for example, San Francisco, they do not have a first-round draft. Well, with the Debo situation going and the Garoppolo and what they're going to do, I'm hearing rumors of like, hey, they might package some of these players and say, hey, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to move back into the first round. And I'm going, okay, Dallas, where are we at? Where are we at? But it is what it is.
Yeah, I ain't really worried about them trading picks. Again, draft picks are only going to go so dang on far. You still need some quality veterans added via free agency. That's where my gripe has been. And in regards to trades for players, that's where my gripe has been. They'll be fine in the draft.
They'll be fine in the draft, and then we can hope that. Well, hey, listen, it's coming up, and it's exciting stuff, and anyway, but hey, good stuff, and we'll just sit back and wait and see if anything happens between now and the draft. But
in closing,
some of those free agent moves After the draft, probably, right?
We'll see. They've done it. They've done it the last 2 off seasons. Everson Griffin and Malik Hooker. So they'll probably get one more in there after the draft. But hey, Nacho, appreciate you calling in, man. Enjoy the rest of your day.
My man. You too. Yeah.
Thank you. Y'all are something else in that dang on chat. All right, listen, we about to roll up out of here. In the next couple minutes, I'm going to hit the chat. Y'all been very active in there amongst each other. I haven't really been able to focus too much there because I'm talking to the callers here. But I see y'all are talking about Kenyon Green would help us a lot. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of a guard. That's the thing about this draft that maybe I'll talk about later more with Vach, is that we're in a position right now where we kind of need a handful of spots. There's really no position that in round one. I shouldn't say no position, but there's a good group of positions in that first 2 or 3 picks where if you tell me guard, DT, wide receiver, and if one of those are the picks, I completely understand it. I completely understand it because we've kind of put ourselves in that spot, which kind of contradicts what the Cowboys want to do going into the draft. They want to go into the draft not having these little small potholes, right? They want to go into the draft having that flexibility. Still an opportunity to do so, but a bit of a question mark. What you guys talking about? Cooper, Big Sarge talking about Tom. Let's get TC said, let's get drunk for every time the caller says okay. There's some callers where we could play a game. My guy, Mr. All I Gotta Say, Reek. Favorite edge that might be available to us. You mean in the first round? I'm imagining you talking about the first round. What I said this on Vacha's show. I love Jermaine Johnson. So much the potential there is great. But I think he's going to get picked before us. Some people don't believe he should. But let's just say he's available. That's one of the guys I would love. But I feel like the Karlaftis of the world, the Jermaines, the Walkers, obviously Thibodeau and Hutchinson, those guys I think are going to be gone. So now you're looking at second round. Yeah, 24. So Jermaine, I feel like if there was one guy that would fall, it'd be him. Phone blowing up. What about Christian Watson in the second round? Nick, let me just tell you this. If that is a selection, it will go against the grain for Will McClay. He does not like small school guys. He doesn't. In fact, Ben DiNucci, I think, is the only small school pick since Will McClay start running the draft room. And if you remember, we talked about that safety room. I could bring up the graphic, but I'll just tell you. If you look at the safety room, the safety drafts over the last 15 years, they figured we don't need to go to the big schools. We'll go to IUP. Go to Eastern, whatever it was for Matt Johnson. We'll go to Georgia Southern for J.J. Wilcox. And none of them never really quite hit the way they wanted to. So I don't get your hopes up for a Christian Watson because he's a small school guy. Right? Now, the guy you want to look into is Khalil Shakir. In fact, before we get out of here, the last question I had to myself really was, will CeeDee Lamb get any help, right? And we know that the wide receiver is being looked at for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, Chris Olave was brought in, Traylon Burks was brought in, Drake London was brought in. 3 wide receivers that are first-round wideouts. So I know my man B came on and said, I do not want to take a wide receiver in the first round. And I told him, just prepare yourself in case, because they are definitely looking there. But Khalil Shakir is another guy who's a Boise State alum, right? You got Kellen Moore, Boise State. Dallas loves Boise State guys, whether it's Kellen here or not. And he's got some juice to him. He's got some talent. To my opinion, more of a mid-round guy, but don't be surprised if they pass on receiver and then Shakir's the pick sometime in the 3rd or 4th round. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked, man. But no, I wouldn't get my hopes up for a small school guy of any nature at any position. All right, of any position. All right, guys. We are finna head out here. It is Monday, so that means that A to Z Sports Prime Time is back. And later on, Mauricio Rodriguez will be in the building. We got to coordinate. Oh, before I get out of here, let me get to some of these super chats. But we got to coordinate because I believe he's supposed to come on this week. We'll see how that works. Maybe we'll do it the week of the draft week, but we'll see. I'm trying to get him on this week, and I was on his show last week. Fun show. Go check that out if you missed it. I had a good time doing that. Sometimes it's cool just to sit back and be the guest of a show instead of trying to run everything. But let me get to some of these super chats. My apologies, y'all. My apologies. Right here. All right, here we go.
Super chat.
We got a super chat from Tom Downey earlier. He says, so glad we cleared all the cap. Null jersey on the way. Sully with the $5 super chat.
Super chat.
Appreciate you. He says, now TP only here for 1 year. He been here for 3 years now. Still haven't figured out how to use him. Don't need Burks not to use him. Also, I need a clue bomb. I'll give you a clue bomb. But not because of Burks. I'll give you a clue bomb because you asked for one and you paid for one. I got you, brother. Another super chat, recent super chat.
Super chat.
From Jose. Appreciate you for the $10 donation. He says, I would love to trade back a couple picks and pick up another third. Go check out our mock draft on Thursday. And I also brought it back. We reviewed it on Friday. Yeah, on Friday. And we did. That's what we did. We traded back a few picks, picked up an extra second, actually. And I thought it played out well for us. So it all depends how that board falls. That's the beauty of being at 24. You kind of can sit back and see how things fall out or fall to you. And there should be an opportunity to trade back in regards to the board. Meaning you might have 3 or 4 guys you like. It's just a matter of finding a partner who wants to come up. And we chose the Packers because one of the receivers were there. So Marcus wants to do more film. I almost did a legit film session about CeeDee today. I just didn't have enough time to put it all together. So I already had some all 22 from CeeDee, but I was going to break down a few plays. But maybe we'll get back into that. Find a couple players to do so. I kind of want to wait for draft though. I love looking at the actual players we draft, taking their film. Let's break it down, take a look at it. I started it last year. I think I'm going to bring it back this year. Rating the draft series, meaning we'll take all of our draft picks, or at least the prominent ones, and we'll rate them. I have a scale, if I can remember, of year one impact, of value, and long-term outlook. And that was real fun. I enjoyed that. We looked at some film. We broke it down. We pieced it together with the current team and the potential of what they'll do later. I had an awesome time doing that. So we'll bring that back. There'll be a lot of film with that too, man. Swain says, Sky, that trade for Jacksonville for the wide receiver. Yeah, you're talking about who's the cat? Laviska Shenault. I would love that move. Keeps us flexible a little bit. But all right, let me hit this button, man. Good show today. Appreciate the calls. Great calls. Great calls. Appreciate the donations. The chat was popping. You guys are always active. Always active. I think we have one of the most interactive shows there is out there. And I appreciate that. Y'all keep on keeping on, man. Keep on keeping on. Come on back tomorrow. 8:15-ish. 8:15-ish. Hit up A2ZSportsDallas.com and check out my guy Mo later on tonight on Prime Time. We out of here. Peace.
Get your damn act together.